So to start things off, my first guest ever is Mr. Gary Mack. We go back a long time ago, man.
Long time.
And he's a fucking awesome guitar player and a great friend. And we just bumped into each other at Music Go Round last week, and we talked like for 20 minutes, half an hour, and like, dude, you got to do a podcast.
We wouldn't
Are you
shut
serious? Like, yeah, you got to do it. So here we are. How's it going, Gary? How you been?
It's going. Glad to be here.
Good, man. Glad to see you, man. How you been?
Doing good.
Good.
Just, working, doing the band thing.
Oh yeah.
My band.
How's that going, man?
It's going really good.
I heard you got a cease and desist. You're no longer Ratfink.
We didn't get one. We are actually going in to record an album.
Awesome.
And, under the name Ratfink, which we used to be called, I wanted to make sure it was going to be free and clear to use that name because, that little green rat character with the RF on its chest.
Oh, yeah. I'm chasing that trophy for the motorcycle. I know what you mean, man.
But I contacted their people and said, hey, I didn't know if context had anything to do with it. Basically, we're not using their likeness, their images, their logos. And, anytime people send us stuff with that, we tell them, we distance ourselves from that big time. But I figured I better contact them if we're going to be selling a record. And the creator, Ed Roth, his widow, got back to me personally and said, yeah, it's copyrighted. You probably should change the name. Good luck with the record, blah, blah, blah. So I'm excited about it, though, because...
Oh, I love the new name. What's the new name?
The Random Few.
The Random Few. I love that.
So we kept the initials so we didn't have to change our Facebook page and stuff.
Oh, that's even cooler.
Yeah, see?
That's awesome.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, somebody is.
But I'm excited about it because it's kind of, it's the same band. We're, keeping the songs and, learning new stuff and writing new stuff at the same time. But, it's kind of, at the same time, it's kind of like a new start. We searched. I couldn't find anyone else that had that name. So I guess you could say it's original. And, yeah, I'm excited about it.
Oh, I love the name. And you were saying when you play out, do you do 50-50, like 50 originals, 50% covers, or
we do mostly covers, but we have a good number of originals, but we're gonna be writing more too.
Well, you said you were going to the studio. Are you already in there, or did you?
Well, we were supposed to go in October, but the studio we're going to, they, he moved to a new building, and they were doing a bunch of renovations in there, which fell behind. So we're just waiting for the go ahead for that. So it should be any time now. I was hoping to have it out around the first of the year.
Right.
But, circumstances.
How do you feel about that? Because, before you had to go in the studio, 24 track, 12 track, whatever, analog and everything. And now with Pro Tools and everything else, everything's digitalized. Do you really feel the need to go in the studio? Or
yeah, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
All right. But what do you think about that? Isn't that a shame? Like I used to think about like Led Zeppelin. They rented a mansion, spent millions of dollars, been recording, spent 2 years to make an epic album.
Right.
Nobody's going to do that anymore. Now you got Pro Tools because you're basically giving your music away nowadays.
Well, I hear that a lot of people like it better because they can do it at their own pace. Then on the flip side, I hear people say that they like, being face to face in the same room in a studio and stuff. So it doesn't matter to me. I just want to put out a good record.
I mean, so for me, I was kind of like on the fence, with the internet thing, because before you had to be chosen.
That's because we're old. Come on, Rich.
And then now you can just do whatever. Now anybody can be it,
Yeah.
And so, but at the same time, it kind of, do you think there's going to be any more super big bands coming up? Because, we're going to see another Zeppelin or, and stuff,
It's really hard to say. I mean, there's some great bands coming out, but will they be at that level? I don't know. I think the internet kind of killed some things.
Crazy. Well, we're going to get into more of that later.
I shouldn't say killed, but, just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I think
messed it up a bit.
The internet, I'm still like torn, I like it, but I don't,
It's good promo too,
because if we would have had that back in the day where we didn't have to ask for permission, we just go in and release it ourselves, that would have been great. But at the same time, is the quality and stuff, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, some people are really good with it with the home stuff. Like
Yeah,
I said, I know nothing about that.
yeah. I mean, it's,
The
the game
technical
has
stuff.
changed so much
I
from the
let someone else
'80s,
do it. I don't even work on my own guitars.
right?
I take them to somebody else.
Oh.
I got all my friends that are guitar players.
And
They do their own
I
work.
can
It's like
fix your
I want to
bike.
throw it out the window. I start throwing tools and stuff.
Oh, I try to true my neck on my bass.
This episode is brought to
I
you
can
by
work on
Scully's Customs,
motorcycles. I
the
can't work on
premier
guitars.
air
Yeah.
ride for your Harley
I can
Davidson
barely
and
change
other
my strings
models.
without
If
busting
you're
the
sick
cord
of your
inside.
Harley
Right.
suspension, this is the way to
Some
go.
tools have
Everybody
gone
knows
flying before
it
when I try and
sucks,
do
but
stuff
with
on
the
my
air ride,
guitars.
it's instant
I
up,
don't do any
instant
more
down.
than
You
play
dial
'em
it
and change
in,
the strings.
and your ass, your gauge. It makes it the
Well, let's
best.
just get into it right
Scully's
away.
is
Like,
not only
when did you
install,
start playing
they have
guitar?
the
Was that your
greatest
first
customer
instrument or
service. We're
no?
talking a
Well,
lifetime
when I was in like
warranty. Lifetime.
third
You can take it
grade,
off
I
one bike and
picked
put
up
on
drums
another,
for like
and you're
3
still
months.
covered.
Right, right.
And
The
not only
snare
do
Yeah,
they
the
drum,
do
band,
air
the
ride,
full
they
band
do
thing, and
handlebars, they do
in
audio
third grade, I
upgrades.
don't
They do
take any of
all
that
the
stuff into
motorcycle rallies.
consideration
They're
about
always
so it didn't
somewhere, but
last.
they do
being
mail
serious
order
about
and
stuff.
everything
Yeah, I
else.
did a
And
trumpet.
did I say
And all I
lifetime
knew was
warranty?
boo.
Just check the link down
But
below
as far as
or
guitar
give Rodney a
goes,
call.
I
But whatever you do,
probably
just tell
started
him
playing when I
Rich
was about
sent you.
14,
No shy cons.
maybe
Out.
14 or 15, somewhere around there.
Right,
So I
right.
was kind of a late bloomer on that.
What made you want to?
Friends,
Friends?
I got jealous. They were playing guitar and it was cool. So, I figured, what the hell?
Cool. What was any of your major? What was the first song you learned on guitar?
Oh,
Were you a
jeez.
smoke on the water guy or? That was
It
mine.
might have been.
Dun,
It might have been. I think that's
dun,
everyone's
dun.
first
Yeah,
song,
it's like
from our
almost.
era anyway.
Yeah, almost. You know.
But it's hard to say.
Right.
I took the first year of lessons from Terry Peterson, the
Oh,
great Terry
Terry.
Peterson.
Oh, the man.
Terry, if you
God.
watch this, love you.
Terry. I'd love to have you in the show. Contact me.
I've been playing, probably damn near, if not 40 years now, but if it wasn't for that first year of taking lessons from him, I would probably suck right now. I mean, maybe I do. I don't know, but as far as I'm concerned.
So you got into it because your friends were all playing, or did you go to a concert that inspired you? Like, that's what I want to do, or what really inspired you?
Well, a friend of mine, Scott Larson, had his old Lotus Flying V, and he was, playing, and I was like, I want to play. And, he let me play his guitar, and he said, if you can do this in time, then you can do it. So, I got a guitar. My mom bought me, it was an Arbor. It was like the Randy Rhoads type of V.
Oh,
It was
really?
a zebra stripe. Cheap, but I wish I still had that damn thing.
That's your first guitar?
That was my first guitar. Well, actually, I had a Harmony when I was, long before that, but I never actually played it.
Right,
Because, again,
right.
I was a little kid.
Yeah.
But that guitar was what I first started learning anything on. And to this day, I wish I still had that thing just because of the sentimental first guitar thing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that one a bit further. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
So that's your first-
I started taking the lessons from Terry, and it was like onward and upward from there. So
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Scully's Customs, the premier air ride for your Harley Davidson and other models. If you're sick of your Harley suspension, this is the way to go. Everybody knows it sucks, but with air ride, it's instant up, instant down. You dial it in, and your ass is your gauge. It makes it the best. Scully's is not only install, they have the greatest customer service. We're talking a lifetime warranty. Lifetime. You can take it off one bike and put on another, and you're still covered. And not only do they do air ride, they do handlebars, they do audio upgrades. They do all the motorcycle rallies. They're always somewhere, but they do mail order and everything else. And did I say lifetime warranty? Just check the link down below or give Rodney a call. But whatever you do, just tell him Rich sent you. No shy cons. Out.
Was there any local bands that inspired you to make a band, or
I
was
think-
it major bands that inspired you?
obviously I have my favorites for major bands and stuff, but it's local bands are the reason I play. And, some relatives of mine, like a couple cousins were players, and my stepdad was a great guitar player. But seeing bands like Nick Fury, Screamer, Detour, those, when
bring
you're a
together.
14-year-old kid, they're rock stars.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I'd never been to a big concert before, and seeing them, it was just, bigger, larger than life.
That was
And
me. Nick Fury was it. When I saw them, I'm like, that's what I want to do. Went out the next day and bought spandex and got guitar school.
Happily, I'm friends with all those guys, or at least a lot of the guys in those bands. I've, played with two of the Russell brothers and that were in Detour for a little while. Honored to play with those guys, considering they inspired me.
Oh yeah,
to
Detour was awesome too. I think the first show I saw was Detour opening up for Nick Fury at the Rosemont Theater.
See, for me, it was at the Eagles Club.
Yeah, Roosevelt.
But I jammed with Mark Russell and Steve Russell in a band
Great
called
guys.
Chain Reaction.
Chain
We
Reaction.
played with you guys once at Sergio's.
Right. Was that your first band?
That was the first band I ever played out in.
First band you ever played out?
That was probably like 1992.
What was there a band before that, but you never played out and you broke up, or you,
numerous basement bands.
just
like Merciless. Those you remember.
But
those.
you never played out.
No, we never played out. That was the only thrash band I was ever in.
Right.
I mean, I like it.
Oh yeah.
It's not my thing. I'm more just straight ahead rock and roll. Just numerous, basement bands. Never played out with anyone. Like I said, Chain Reaction was the first one. And then after that, the original version of Ratfink. Where at
Was
the time
that was the next one?
I believe it
The
was
Origins of Ratfink?
The Origins of Ratfink. Me and Jerry Lynn playing bass. I was just the guitar player at the time. Bobby Franks was singing, and Al Comstock was the drummer, and we had a lot of fun. And we played from Chicago to Milwaukee. It was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Eventually, split up. Trying to think what came after that. There was other bands, but Ratfink got back together in 2015, and with the original lineup. And
wow.
Since then, we've made some changes. Sometimes things just don't work out anymore. People are in different areas of their life. So we tried out singers and played out a couple shows with another friend of mine, Brett Scheuerman. We had different drummers, a couple different drummers. Sometimes things just don't work out. It just doesn't feel right. And eventually, Bobby came back. That again didn't work out anymore. We got tired of auditioning people for singers. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You've been
Singer
there.
syndrome. I know all about it.
So I figured, I'll just give it a shot myself. And
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
I'm not a
man.
trained singer at all, but
Right.
I guess I'm doing okay. I like to think, I'm getting better at it. Playing and singing at the same time is a challenge.
That's
Singing is the hardest thing to do in a band, especially when you got, when you're playing guitar besides it. But you don't have a voice, and I've had shows where my voice was going and it sucks, but you just kind of plug through it. But it's the hardest thing because if you either have it that night or you don't, guitar, I can cover it with a dive bomb or something,
right. Yeah. Singing is the hardest job, but it's the best job.
So now, after we've made more changes, we're I guess you'd call it a power trio. Myself,
There's only 3 guys.
yeah, we're a 3-piece.
Oh,
It's
wow.
myself on guitar and lead vocal. Jerry Lynn, my best friend since high school, is bass player, and he's actually going to start singing a song or two. And now Scott DeLabio is our drummer, and he does sing a few songs too. So yeah, I'm enjoying. I love these guys.
That's a great thing. That's a great thing if you can have multiple singers, because then you can do multiple sounds.
Right.
That's like one of the things about Kiss that was cool, because you could have Gene, Paul, or then all of a sudden Ace or Peter. I love the different dynamics.
So as I was saying, the guys I'm playing with now, love them. We got a great chemistry together. Scott being in the band has been a breath of fresh air. Jerry's been, the band's been together on and off for like 30 years, and Jerry's been my right hand man in this from the beginning. So love playing with these guys. I'm looking forward to recording this album with them.
And then was Rat Fink, did you start that or was it a group
I
effort?
started it. I asked them if, I think I talked to Jerry first. It was either Jerry
And
or
then you
Bobby.
brought it back too?
Yeah.
And said,
That was
hey,
kind of
man,
the
let's
driving
bring it
force. I
back.
had to convince people to come back.
All right.
Al was in another band. Bobby was, kind of not sure what he wanted to do musically. Jerry was kind of out of it for a long time. And things got a little wishy-washy, but I convinced them to come back, and I think we got better than ever at that point. And we had a lot of fun. Then, like I said, things, sometimes things don't work out with certain members for whatever reason. Still friends with everybody, but, whether it's work or this or that,
Right.
everyone gets into a different place in their life. And, but like I said, we auditioned some other people for different things. We played a couple
Well,
of
you
shows
got
with
it
another
easy. You got 3 guys, but then most bands got 4. Some guys got 5 people.
We're
To
actually
get-
kicking around getting either a second guitar player or like kind of that Deep Purple John Lord type of keyboardist.
But
We haven't found that yet.
to get 5 guys to agree on the same thing is so hard. It's so
It
hard
is.
to be in a band.
It
You know,
is.
the hardest thing, deciding a name. Everybody's got their options. And what songs we play. Oh, it's so hard. I mean, it's
It is.
worse than a wife, actually, because you got 4 of them if you're a 5-guy band. You
But
know what I mean?
when it comes together, it's like magic.
Yeah,
know?
It's right. But it's just so hard, decision making, this and that,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
And we have we have disagreements and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Jerry will bicker like brothers sometimes, but we love each other, and we, in the end, we just have a blast on stage, and we like to give each other a bunch of crap on stage, just all in good fun humor. Yeah, so we're having a good time.
What's the most enjoyable for you? Is it a live performance or is it coming up with a riff in your bedroom and going, oh, this is gonna be a great song? What's more enjoyable?
I love playing live.
Yeah.
I hate hauling gear. You know what I'm talking about with
Oh,
that.
yeah.
But and it's funny because you get people saying, "Oh, I'm getting smaller gear because it's easier to lug," and I get it, but for some reason I can't.
I don't like that new genre, man. I bought the fridge Ampeg because that was the thing, stacks of Marshalls. Now they're all fake, and it's just a little bitty amp down there.
I've actually been playing out with a smaller cabinet lately, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a Marshall 212 cabinet, and does the job.
Right.
Doesn't look as cool.
Right.
Bigger amps look cool, obviously, but
Right.
I'm also 55, so it's not getting any easier to lug this crap around,
Well, in all of your years playing, what's your favorite gig?
Ah, jeez.
You got a favorite one or no?
I have to say one that we just did in the last year or two at a place called Polly's Pub and Eatery in West Dallas. I think that was one of the most fun shows we ever played. The crowd was into it. Not that they're not into it at other shows. That one, it was like the energy was just off the charts. It was great. Played a lot of really fun shows, but that one sticks out in my head. That really had a blast.
When you're playing original versus cover tune, do you feel better when you're playing original and you get a lot of applause, or a cover where it's
Wow, you know how it is in this area. I mean,
Yeah.
cover bands, obviously get a lot of attention. Bars want cover bands, but when we get a good reaction to our original stuff, there's nothing like it.
Right?
It is. It's great. When people compliment us on it, not the typical, oh, you guys kicked ass, but I mean, they pick stuff out, and it's really cool to get credit for the stuff that we're working really hard on.
Isn't it? That's the best.
It is. You can't beat the
I always-
satisfaction of playing an original live.
Right. I always got the thing about doing covers, but I was always like originals, because anybody can play a cover and get applause. Do an
Right.
original, you earn that. You wrote
Exactly.
that.
So it
On
means a lot.
on this new record coming up, are you the majority songwriter, or is it a group thing? Or
Well-
how do you go about writing a song? Do you come up with a riff and then go with music, or do you come up with
the words, and then
Well, some of the stuff we've had for a long time. Bobby Franks helped us write some of the lyrics on some of these songs, or writing the lyrics on some of these songs. Jerry writes the lyrics pretty much on the other ones. The original ideas come up. Sometimes I have stuff that just, on my own I come up with just jamming, and sometimes we come up with ideas at rehearsal, just a little free jam, and whoa, that's cool, So
that's the best free jamming, man.
it is, it is, and I think
if you can capture it in that first take, that's the best, because then when you're trying to redo it, it just loses that fresh.
But we just, if idea comes up, we'll just look at each other like, whoa, holy crap, and then we just start expanding.
You guys record all your practices?
No, we should. Once in a while we do, but for the most part, no.
Man.
We should, though.
You got to, because when inspiration strikes, it's awesome,
Yeah, it's kind of like, God, I hope I remember.
And then
this.
try to remember it, yeah.
But the worst thing
That's
is, and I'm sure you've been through this too, as someone who wrote original music, but, sometimes I'll get the idea when I'm driving or when I'm at work.
Yeah.
And I don't have a guitar nearby.
Right.
And then by the time I get to one, it's gone.
Yep. Exactly.
And I work in a loud environment, so sometimes I'll try and, go on my phone and I'll just like Facebook Messenger it to myself and I'll just hum into it.
I'm getting old. I probably got Alzheimer's or something. I don't know. But I'll come up with these cool lyrics and I'm like, I got to remember it. And then I realized I got a memo on my phone. So now I've been memoing them and, record them and stuff.
We, the stuff we write, it's not like we're writing every day or anything. And it's just, when it comes to us, then we'll expand on it. I can't go and say, hey, I'm going to write a song today, because I'm going to be sitting there going, what am I going to do, But, it's got to come kind of like just the free jamming thing more than anything.
Exactly. That's the way to go. And with this album, how many songs you plan to release?
8.
Cool.
Yep.
That's a good number.
Got 6 bangers on it. I'm doing a couple ballads.
Hey, you guys.
For 8 songs, I mean, 2 ballads might be a lot, but one is, one of our best tunes. And then the second one, I want to kind of close it. I want to use it as a closer of the album, kind of like the Aerosmith Rocks with the Home Tonight or whatever it was called.
Right.
Kind of like that mellow out at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of my inspiration for putting that one at the end. But yeah, it's we're looking forward to this.
I know ballads get a bad name, but sometimes those are the best songs, where bands put most of their feeling into it and stuff like that in the groove.
Right.
Sometimes ballads are cool. I got no disrespect for them.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear it, man.
I'm excited to record it. We got to get there yet.
Oh, I hear you.
Like I said, we're just waiting for the word from a guy named Derek Shivink. He's out of Janesville. He's going to record it for us. Just waiting for the word from him. He's been waiting for them to finish this renovation of the studio, and
yeah. I mean, are you just gonna stick with the natural flow of things and do downloads and stuff, or are you actually gonna print some CDs?
I want to do it on CD, and that's still the superior medium.
Oh yeah,
media, in my opinion.
I like nothing to hold in my hand. I'm more excited about the booklet.
Yeah.
Because albums were the shit.
Well, we'll see if we can afford the whole booklet or not.
Yeah, I mean, that's what sucks, because that's what I really like,
right,
is to look through and see the pictures and read the notes and special thanks and everything for and everything else. I miss those days. I remember going to, Mainstream on 22nd there for midnight release albums,
Yep. I remember going to the Motley Crue Theater of Pain listening party there.
Yeah. That vibe isn't there anymore.
No, it's not.
Now you listen to it on your phone. It's
which is all fine, but it's not the same.
No, it's not at all. And that excitement that I had when I get that new Maiden album, and then standing in line and running back to the house, putting that needle down.
Even just going in there and like hitting the cutout bin. Remember the cutout bins?
Oh, yeah.
And you're taking a chance on something. It looks like it might be cool. And you put it in, and it's either going to be gold or it's going to suck.
Oh.
I mean, I've had some that were great. I've had some that really just sucked.
I mean, like, I don't know for me, but like back in the day, it was always about the cover and stuff like that. You didn't see it. I remember taking a shot just because I like the name Queensryche,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it was only a 4-song LP and stuff like that. But man, it just blew me away.
Well, I remember hearing. I didn't know about them until I heard Queen of the Reich on.
Yeah, that was
it was
that
like
album.
it was either on QFM or LPX or something like that. You know, the old school radio stations. So
Yeah, those were the days. You know,
I actually wrote them when I was a kid after I heard them. Wrote their fan club, and Jeff Tate's mom actually got back to me.
dude,
She ran the fan club or something.
I heard all kinds of stories about them, but now I actually got first person knowledge of Jeff Tate. My brother Chris, he actually drove the tour bus for like 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said Jeff was just the nicest, sweetest guy and everything else. But he hated it because he's a music fan. But he was driving a bus, so he had to sleep. He can go to the concert so he could drive the bus to get him to the next show.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I guess Jeff Tate's awesome.
I just met him a year ago.
Oh, did you?
Not even a year ago. We're at the Arcata Theater, St. Charles. Nice guy.
Yeah.
Just sitting in the restaurant there, and he walks in. Like, holy crap, you know, you were part of my musical childhood here.
Operation Mindcrime was probably my favorite concept album.
Great album.
And I hated number 2, and now he's coming out number 3. I'm crossing my fingers. It's going to be good, man. You know, don't end it with a flop, but we'll see. We'll see. So back to, so you were playing and you were doing gigs and stuff like that. What was, and your best gig we already talked about, right?
Right.
And then what was your worst?
Oh, geez. There's been many.
Yeah.
You know, I can't pinpoint exactly which one, but I know there was one I had to actually cut early because my voice was shot.
Oh.
And kind of really sucks. Felt bad. I think I even said, hey, we're not even going to take any pay for this.
Oh, really?
You know, because
right.
why should they pay for half a show?
And that's what a lot of things are, you know, and being in the industry, you know. My worst gig is when I fell off stage at the, I don't know, Geneva Gateway Theater in Chicago, you know. But I mean, there's all kinds of things. I remember one time we were playing this gig and I thought we were tuned in D, but we were in E, and I'm like, oh, you know, so you know, but it's just part of the show. You just gotta rock with it.
I've
right?
done that, not because it's, you know, doing wrong, but because I wasn't thinking. Just started it in the wrong spot,
right?
So it kind of puts a damper on things.
Yeah, that's what's cool about live shows.
But we've had you know, that stuff happen. I mean, I think every band's had that stuff happen.
Do you have any crazy fans, any Klingons that just like, you know, you try to be nice, but it's just like, come on, dude, you know? Or
nothing like that. I mean, we get hecklers, and I just have fun with them. Every band gets those too.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah, for sure.
They're all just having fun too. They're not, you know, saying, "Oh, you guys suck" or anything like that. But you know, get people that mess with us, and I like to mess with them right back, and it's all in good fun.
Really?
I'll tell you one of the funniest things that ever happened at a gig that we played though, and it was a Ratfink gig at Stage 1. You know, any good thing with shit. We just talked about you guys blowing that stage up.
I miss you, Steve Hawkins. Where you at, man?
He's in Arizona.
Is he?
I think it's Arizona. Is it? Yeah, I think Arizona. This guy, you know, this bigger guy, walks in. He's got this briefcase full of harmonicas, and he goes to Bobby. He's like, "Hey, can I come up and play with you guys?" I didn't know about it until he announced that this guy was coming up. And, you know, Bobby announces him, "Hey, you know, everyone welcome Martin. He's going to come up and play with us." He comes up with a trumpet.
A trumpet with a metal band?
He gets on the stage. And then all of a sudden you hear him go, "All right, Little Boy Bluebird in the key of C. Follow me for the changes." And then he just starts stomping his feet and playing, right?
That's awesome.
So I'm trying to play, you know, we're all trying to play along with this guy. We didn't know what the hell he was going to do. And then, you know, Bobby just sits on the drum riser. He's just laughing his ass off. And it was just the funniest thing. And finally, you know, the guy would not leave the stage.
Right.
Jerry turns to him, you know, Jerry's playing his bass and everything else. And he turns to him and says, "Thank you, Martin." And the guy finally gets off the stage. It was so ridiculous that it was just funny as hell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, That's probably the funniest thing that's ever happened. I mean, I'm sure there's other things I'm not remembering, but
Right.
again, I'm old.
Did you ever open up for any big bands? Any
The only one we opened up for that was semi
semi?
big. Last right? No, just kidding.
Yeah.
I did enjoy playing with you guys though.
I enjoyed playing with you too.
We actually opened for the band that doubled for Kiss in that I think it was the Detroit Rock City movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're called Hotter Than Hell.
Oh, how did hell? I know those.
We opened for them twice
There was a
actually,
cover
both
band,
times
yeah.
at Stage 1.
They were really
Yeah, it
good.
was the Kiss tribute band. They
Yeah.
were like the next one under Strutter, because Strutter was the big one.
Big, yeah. And there's a new one now that's really big.
There's like a billion of them.
But now Gene got that trademark patent or whatever. So the cover band thing's going to change if he gets his
Well, don't forget they don't own Kiss anymore.
right.
ABBA owns Kiss.
Well, the company that owns ABBA. 'cause
Yeah, I
it's-
know.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
one of the guys in ABBA actually
hologram,
is the guy that runs the
shows.
company. He's one of the people that
right.
is that company. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, but yeah, we had an opportunity or two, but something happened with work schedules or anything, so we had to pass up on a couple things. But yeah, as far as opening for bigger bands, I don't know if you qualify that as big, but it was cool. They were in a movie, so
Right.
yeah.
Did you ever have any crazy like people come up to you and say they want to be your manager and offer you like, I can get you a record deal, I can get you this?
No, but we've had people come up to us and say they want to sing or whatever, and it's like that's why I became the singer, because I can sing Skid Row.
Right.
Sebastian Bach. Okay, come on.
Right.
And then they come down and it's like,
Dude,
get out.
I didn't really like any of his solo stuff until this new album. He's killing it right now.
That's awesome.
But then he's got to quit the comments on the side.
Yeah, well,
Comes home and his wife's not there and he's crying like a little.
yeah. Well, that's
Keep it to the rock, man. But
there's
but
music and then there's the personal life. It's like everyone hates Ted Nugent too because of his politics, and
I love his.
I just
love his
I just
new
want
stuff.
his music. That's all I care about.
Yeah, his new stuff is awesome.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
It brought me back. Like, yeah,
that might be the album of the year for 24
for me anyway.
for me too.
I'm dying to hear that new LA Guns one. I'm a big LA Guns fan, so they got
Yeah.
a new album coming out pretty soon.
I remember running lights for them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, at Stage 1.
Yeah.
Or what it might have been called Twisters at the time, but
right.
I used to run lights. I ran lights for you guys at Hawks and Twisters, Stage 1.
Yeah, they were good guys. I met them at that bar on Highway 50 and 45 there. It was like the Fox Lounge or
50 and 4. Trying to think of what bar that would be.
yeah, it was out there by Wilmot stuff. But they were
Oh,
great guys.
you're talking about out in Wheatland, the old Sly Fox?
Yeah, Sly Fox.
I was there.
Yeah, that was a great show.
It was a
man.
great show.
They were great. The only thing that was missing was Tracy.
Yeah, but Stacy Blades killed it.
Oh yeah, they were.
And, vocals were spot on and everything. So Phil Lewis was great.
Yeah. Yeah, Phil.
I don't know
Phil
any of
Record.
these people, so I'm not name dropping.
No, I mean, and that's the thing is, it's hard for they got all these bands that got L.A. Guns this and then Tracy's L.A. Guns or Jeff Tate's Queensryche or Queensryche or Jack Russell's, and it's like it sucks being a guitar player because we can be replaceable basically, but a voice is personal. It's there.
Identifiable.
And it's idea. So it matters where the singer goes. The singer makes everything for me,
Yeah.
because I grew up listening to that. And if you got somebody else, it's just not the same, So I wish bands when
from
they
time to
switched, they
time,
would do a thing of their own.
from time to time, it worked. It worked for Maiden. It worked for AC/DC.
AC/DC was the best one ever.
Well, yeah, they got one of the biggest selling albums of all time in all of music.
Well, the way they went about it and stuff, and the way they got it, and that song Back in Black. I mean, it's incredible the lyrics we listen to.
Yeah.
And it's almost, my drummer's mom made us watch this video back in the day about the Devil's and stuff like that. She made us watch this video, and they
Remember,
brought the,
After Christ, Devil Comes.
Yeah, when
Remember
they-
that's what AC/DC
when
was
they brought up
supposedly.
AC/DC, they showed that, and then I didn't even think about it at the time. I'm back. dead news from the news that's kept me hanging around. You know, forget the hearse because I'll never die. So then all of a sudden I thought, oh my God, Bon Scott was reincarnated into Brian Johnson. You know,
Yeah, but they sounded nothing alike.
right? But it was like it was seamless. You know, and yeah, I forgot about Maiden, but that was a tough one for me because I still like the Paul. You know, I love his stuff. He may not be the technical one, but he had the grit. You know, Bruce, I liked him until he turned into an asshole, and so I don't like him. I went and seen him in Cadet, and I brought my kid to see his first band concert, and he was such an asshole to the crowd. He was calling us cow fuckers and all this shit just because they weren't doing this on time. Even Steve Harris came over to say, "Dude, put the shit out," So
He's a little outspoken.
yeah, Bruce lost me there, but
well,
but I mean, he's old,
Maiden for me is Killers through Power Slave.
Yeah, they lost me. They actually lost me at Power Slave.
Oh, I love that album. I was actually supposed to go to that concert. Still got the full ticket because my ride canceled on me. It sucks. I'm like 15 years old or something. It was supposed to be my first concert ever.
Yeah, Maine was actually my very first concert. Big concert.
Mine was Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force.
Oh, wow.
With Talus opening up.
Talus. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
So it was Summerfest Rock Stage. It was, I want to say, 85. And I'm all excited because I've never seen a big band before. Like I said, to me, the bands like Nick Fury and Screamer and stuff were the rock stars, because that's what I saw. And so we go there, Talus plays, and they just killed it. Billy Sheehan was awesome. The whole band was just on fire. And
excuse me.
all right.
So sorry about that, people. We got cut off because I didn't turn off my cell phone, and we were talking about the concert with Billy Sheehan and stuff. So
right.
Let's try to get back to it.
It was Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force. It was my first concert ever at Summerfest. I want to say like 85. Then Talus opened it up, and Talus played and killed it. They rocked. Billy Sheehan just was awesome. The whole band was on fire. And then Yngwie sets up, and then the skies opened up. Torrential downpour. So, show got canceled. 2 nights later, they rescheduled it. So I got to see Talus twice.
Oh, awesome!
In 3 days, I saw him twice, and then Yngwie just went up there and just tore it up. Man, he was awesome. And for me, that was a hell of a first concert. And of course, they say that your first is best.
Oh, that brings you to the other question. What's your favorite guitar player?
Jake E. Lee.
He was the man.
Ozzy Osbourne, Badlands, Red Dragon Cartel.
Yeah. He got so screwed over.
Yeah, he did.
And he came back on that metal show and talked about it a little bit and stuff like that.
But if he didn't get screwed over, there might not have been a Badlands, which is one of my all-time favorite bands.
Oh, they kicked.
Yeah, they were really great.
I mean, that album they did with Ozzy, our parts were so awesome.
Yeah.
And Randy Rhoads was the hardest to place ever, and he did it.
Yeah.
I mean, but nobody's better than Jake.
So yeah, Jake is my favorite guitar player. I'm also into David Gilmour, Michael Schenker, Steve Vai.
What do you think is the most underrated guitar player that does get no credit? I've been having a conversation with multiple people,
Vivian Campbell.
Vivian Campbell, yeah.
He's
really
another
good.
one that's, I have to say, is, in my top 10, of course. You got to have Eddie Van Halen and Randy Rhoads and stuff, too.
He was in Whitesnake, right? He scored big time there, right?
Who? Vivian
Campbell?
Well, Dio.
Yeah, Dio.
First 3 Dio albums.
But didn't he do a Whitesnake one, too?
He did.
Where the guys were throwing the guitars on me and they're doing all this crazy stuff.
He was in Whitesnake for the, just for that 87 album tour.
Yeah.
He wasn't on the album, though. It was John Sykes,
who
just passed away this week.
Oh, no.
Rest in peace, John Sykes. Great guitar player. Also, probably in my top 10.
Hell yeah.
It's too many to mention, but yeah, Jake is like my supreme guitar idol. So
awesome.
I met him actually at NAMM years back.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that.
And Greg Chasen, the bass player.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. But all right, so we got through this. All right, so I'm not going to ask you what your favorite band is. I'm going to ask you what your top 3 bands are. Because I know it's hard to say one, So what's your favorite 3 bands?
Not in any particular order.
No,
but
no particular order. You know.
I'm gonna say Badlands, Pink Floyd, UFO.
Awesome.
Some of my favorite bands. I can go a step further. And
Oh, I know.
I gotta throw Y&T in there. Meniketti, another one of my top 10 guitar players and fantastic singer. Y&T was just awesome and still kicking. So, yeah, those are some of my favorites. Definitely, anytime someone asks me that, I know I'm forgetting stuff, but yeah.
What's your top 3 albums that you go to?
Well, Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell is, to me, one of the best albums ever made.
There you go.
Got to go with Badlands, Dusk. Their third one that was actually it was supposed to be demos, but it's the most raw of the Badlands albums. Oh, man, you're making this difficult for me.
Well, that's why I gave you a 3, not just one.
One would have been easier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't really say what the third, maybe UFO, Strangers in the Night. Yeah.
That's, yeah. I mean, everybody's got theirs.
Pink Floyd, Animals has got to be up there.
Mine keeps on changing as music comes around.
It does. It does.
I
Totally.
mean, and now I'm kind of like, I know I said it earlier that Queensryche was my favorite concept album, but now I forgot about Stone Sour and House of Golden Bones.
Yeah.
I wore that CD out. It wouldn't even play anymore. I played that one so much, So, I mean, everybody's got their own thing,
right?
And then, so we talked about that. We talked about that. We didn't really get into the most underrated guitar player, but as far as guitar goes, how many guitars do you have?
21.
21.
Yeah, just 21. That's all.
And do you still have?
I say that to people, and they're like, "Just 21."
No, that's a lot, man.
Yeah, but
I mean,
my collection's growing.
But that shows that you're a real guitar player and that you love the craft and you don't give a fuck. If you like the guitar, it makes you happy, right?
Right.
Because I know, my buddy Cam, he'll sit in that little practice booth or whatever, and he'll try out 20 guitars.
He's a great
and
guitar
he'll just
player
sit there
too.
forever and ever and ever until he finds that one. And then he'll come back and back and back, and you.
Hey, if
you
he's
create a
watching, man, he's a great guitar player. Cam, you rule.
Hey, Cam. But so you got 21. Do you still have your first guitar?
I do not.
Oh,
I touched on that one earlier. That was that zebra striped Arbor.
Well, we were talking before we started, so that was the one, huh?
Yeah, that was the first one. It was an Arbor. It was the one I said was the kind of Randy Rhoads style V zebra stripes.
Yeah.
Cheap guitar, but I wish I still had that thing.
I
think I don't know if I traded that in at Music Center, or I know. Yeah, I can't remember what exactly I did. I think it went to Music Center.
Is there any other guitar you regret selling?
Yeah, well, that yellow one down there.
Yeah.
That blinds you.
Uh-huh.
I had that's actually a reissue. It's an Ibanez RG 550. I had an original one in the 90s. For some stupid reason, I traded it in for something. And for decades, I kicked myself in the ass for doing that. Then a couple of years ago, I just happened to be looking online and saw that they reissued that guitar. And they had them on Sweetwater. It was the same color, same thing. Now they call it the RG 550 Genesis reissue. I had to have it.
So it's not the same guitar, but you bought back the same model.
Yeah, just a reissue of it.
Does it play good and stuff like your old one?
It's fantastic.
Remember it?
Yeah, I love it. It's one of my main guitars.
You got 21 guitars. What's your favorite? I know right now. I think I know what's your favorite one is.
It's hard to say because that's why I brought these 3.
Uh-huh.
Because these are this one I haven't actually played out live yet. I just got this one.
Dude, tell us a little bit about that one. That one's the Jakey Lee. I remember seeing you on Facebook going,
the Jakey Lee Charvel signature model. Oh, yeah. I've been eyeing this up for a couple of years. I actually tried one at NAMM a few years ago, and this is all before the COVID app, and I fell in love with it. Plus, obviously being the Jake freak that I am, and got to get into fanboy mode.
Right.
But I finally pulled the trigger on one. I just got this one I bought, I want to say December.
Oh,
So it hasn't even, and we played a show in early December, so it was after that. So I haven't even had a chance to play this one out live yet.
well,
But
you brought that up. Um, I'm not a big Facebook guy and stuff like that. I just do it for like business, for motorcycle stuff. But when I came friends with you on Facebook, I noticed you go to NAM a lot. Well, you used to go to NAM a lot, I think.
I've been there 3 times: 2017, 18, and 19.
Yeah. How's that experience, man?
It's great. It's
Yeah, I mean, you got to meet all kinds of your
yeah,
legend.
including Jakey Lee.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you get a couple minutes with him or no?
Well, they kind of herd you through.
Yeah.
But I got a picture with him. Everything in the picture turned out really, really bad.
Oh,
I look like an idiot in it.
Yeah.
So hopefully I get, I'll meet him again one of these days and get a better picture.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I met, like Phil Collin from Def Leppard.
So many people.
Yeah,
I saw
it's just so many.
What's your biggest memory from NAM? What was oh my God.
Meeting Jakey Lee.
Me and Jake Lee. All right, cool. That's it. Because
but
they have like little side concerts and little.
They do. I actually saw a band there called Took. Stupid name, but it's Brent Fitz plays drums in Slash's band. He was playing bass in this. Todd Kearns, who plays bass in Slash's band and like a zillion other bands, he was playing guitar and singing. Guy named, I forget the guitar player's name, but he plays with like Kelly Clarkson and stuff like that. And the drummer, I know, has played with Schenker, but they were really good. They were just they did all Canadian rock. So anything that was Canadian, they covered it. They were just a cover band. They actually have a couple albums out, and they're really good. But I saw stuff like that there. I also, there's a lot of stuff around outside of NAMM too. Like, I saw Extreme at the House of Blues there. I went to the Ronnie Montrose tribute show twice. That was, just all these people from different bands, just, including people like George Lynch and stuff like that. Derek St. Holmes from Nugent, all just, big jam session playing Montrose songs and paying tribute to Ronnie Montrose. NAMM itself, if you're a gearhead, I know you're a motorcycle gearhead, totally different, but but if you're a music gearhead, gotta go to NAMM. Well, because I tried out so much stuff. I mean, that's how I tried this out.
I accidentally went to NAMM last year.
What do you mean accidentally?
Well, me and my buddy Nick were in LA. We went there, and then we were trying to find free tickets. I just went to a couple hotels and hanging out in the lobby.
It's kind of like who you know.
Yeah, and I met so many people from Fender, from everything else, and I just had a blast just talking to people in the hotel.
The last few years, I haven't gone because kind of COVID kind of brought it down a little bit because of everything that was going on. So I think they're getting back up to what it was before COVID.
Yeah.
When I went there, I mean, I had a blast, but some people, I'm sure it's overwhelming because it's huge.
Oh yeah.
Just trying out gear like crazy, meeting rock stars for 4 days, finding, I've actually bought stuff because of NAMM.
Right.
Like I just bought a pedal board.
That's where they
awesome
that's where they showcase the latest and greatest. That's where they debut it and stuff.
Yeah.
I never actually got into it, but the guy from Fender gave me a couple tickets, but we never got into it because we were having so much fun in the hotel, talking to people. And I met a whole bunch of guys. I didn't know their bands.
Right.
And I was talking to them, and then I'm like, what do you do? And they got so mad because I didn't know who they were. I ain't gonna mention any names, but it was a great time, damn. So speaking of gear and stuff like that, are you a pedal guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've built up quite a sizable pedal board.
Really?
I'm trying to tweak it out now because, I mean, before I was the singer, it was easy to navigate it. But now when I'm singing, I can't exactly look at the pedal board when I want to switch something. So I'm trying to reconfigure things. It's been kind of a pain in the ass, but
how many pedals do you think you use at a normal gig? Are you a 7 guy? Are you a 4 guy? Or are you a 20 guy?
Well, not 20, but there's probably 10 pedals on my board.
Oh, really? Cool.
Delays and.
Are you a boss guy or
some?
I mean, that seems to be industry standard.
Yeah.
And then
I got
Peloton.
Boss. I got MXR. I've got
What's your favorite
Electro
pedal? You can't
harmonics
play
and stuff.
without.
I gotta have a good delay.
Yeah.
The solos. Gotta have it.
What brand?
I just actually switched to an MXR carbon copy.
Oh, really?
I was using a Boss, but kind of crapped out on me.
Right.
But I actually, for a while, I've got a Marshall modeling amp that models old Marshalls, and that has delay built in. So I was using that for a while, but now I've switched back to using pedals since I bought a new Black Star tube amp, and doesn't have all the effects in it. So now I'm back to pedals, and I'm getting used to navigating that way again. And it's, when you're singing too and not looking at it, it's a little difficult.
Oh,
but
yeah.
so I'm trying to reconfigure things.
How's
make
your?
it easier?
You just said tube amp versus solid state. What do you think?
Well, I kind of just entered the world of tube amps. I mean, I've got a PV Classic 50 that's tube. That's pretty killer too, but I wasn't using it on a regular basis.
For me, something about the tubes makes it so much warmer and stuff.
Yeah,
they're so delicate, and I mean, so much stuff can go bad on the road.
But this Black Star I just bought over the past, but maybe a year ago, pretty killer amp. So I think I'm sucked in now. So to the tube amp realm.
What brand amp do you run?
Right now, Black Star.
Black Star. And
if I'm doing like a festival type gig where it's on the fly, I might bring my Line 6 just because it's easy.
What about the cabinet? What do you 410s, Celestians, or?
I have lately. I've been using my 212 Marshall cab with Celestians. I've got multiple 412 cabs too.
Yeah.
So, but I've been using the 212 lately, and the Black Star sounds really good through this cabinet. So, yeah, working for me. Like I said, though, it doesn't look as cool, smaller.
So get back to guitars, though. So the first one you lost, but you never sold anything in that. So you have every guitar since then.
I'm sorry. Repeat that again.
You sold your very first guitar, and you wish you wouldn't have.
Oh yeah.
And did you keep everyone after that, or no?
There have been a few that have been in and out.
Right.
But I can't get rid of any now.
But that's the only one you wish you could get back, right?
Well, I wish I could get them all back. Because they all, looking back, they all had some kind of sentimental value that at the time I didn't realize. But now it's like, God, I wish I still had this thing.
I didn't really realize until I went to the Guitar Center with Cameron, and he played 5 of the same brand guitars, same model, everything.
They're all different.
Everyone is different.
Yeah.
Everyone's different.
Yep.
It depends on if it was built on a Friday or a Monday. I don't know.
Who was
winding, who was winding the pickups. Yep. I don't know, but everyone's different. I didn't realize that how unique a guitar could. You know? And then when you find that one,
Yep. But these are, there's a few other ones I rotate in and out too. But as far as main guitars when I gig, the yellow one's always there. This one is there a lot. I've actually kind of brought this one out of retirement. I was having some issues with it for a while. This one's been with me for a long time.
I like you.
The first Rat Fink demo and stuff I recorded with that. So Ibanez USA custom. I traded something else for it at DB Music back in the day when Rob Olson worked there. And it's a sweet guitar. Trying to get it back to where it once was. I had some modifications done to it that I kind of wish I hadn't done to it. Not that they did a bad job. I mean, Bill Michaelis did the second pickup on this one. Yeah, kind of wish I would have kept the stock.
Getting back to that first guitar, what was it again?
The Zebra Striped Arbor.
Zebra Striped Arbor. If anybody knows where there's a Zebra Striped Arbor out there for sale, let me know. I want to try to get his guitar back, man.
Yeah,
so you guys know,
probably been smashed on stage somewhere.
But that'd be awesome. I love it, man. I love your guitars, love your collection. I love the direction you're going and everything else. And man, it's been great just talking to you.
This has been fun.
It's been a long time,
Just the hang,
Hell yeah,
I like it.
And yeah, I mean, we go way back.
Junior high.
And I
think it was Lincoln, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, Lincoln.
Yeah. I talked about, the bands that, like Nick Fury and stuff like that and stuff. When I was kind of, you were playing out before I was, and Last Rites and stuff. And it's like, so I was, into coming checking you guys out. I
Yeah.
even ran lights for you guys at Hawks on stage 1.
Right. Yeah.
So,
You know, and that's the thing, people don't really realize how great the rock scene was in Kenosha back in the day. I mean, you could pick up the happenings. There was, 5 or 6 different shows you could go to. We were flying, we were doing all the stuff that Sunset Strip was, but we were in Kenosha,
Yeah.
and we had such amazing talent out there.
I'll say this for anyone that watches this. I wanted to join his band, but they wouldn't let me in.
It was bad timing always, man.
I know. I'm
It
just
was
giving
timing.
you crap about
I
it.
know.
I mean, I think I say that to you every time I see you. Wow, it
But,
was good old days, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Those great bands. I mean, there's still
so
great
many
bands
bands.
now too, but
it's not
it
like
was a different
Not like
time
it
as far
was.
as, not the, the bands are different now, but they're still great. But there was a vibe back in, late 80s, early 90s. I started playing out in the early 90s, but, we were seeing some great bands that locally and nationally,
Yeah,
but
I mean, Kenosha was just like a hub for me. I mean, so many great musicians,
Yeah.
and I just feel I'm so sad that people didn't get to experience it like we did.
yeah.
And to see these bands, and
Well, the crowds ain't like they used to be either.
I know.
It's tough for live music right now. And it's not just my band. I mean, we have some good crowds. Sometimes we have some bad, that are not so big, but I mean, that's every band. Even the
Right.
bands that, there's only a handful of bands in Wisconsin that really
Yeah, I mean,
draw every time.
as far as the band scene goes, for me, it's dropped. It's
Yeah.
probably gonna be like 20% what it was back in the '90s.
And not the quality of the bands, just the vibe of the scene.
Yeah, well, and back in the day, I mean, bands would go all out.
Yeah.
They would just go out like it was an arena, but it was
And blow up stages.
sometimes.
Who
That's
would have
another
done that?
story. But I mean, it was great, and it's great. That's what I wanted to do this show, K-Town Icons, is to let everybody experience what I experienced and get to know people that grew up in stuff like that.
Right.
And my inspiration. I mean, you're an inspiration to me because you never stop. You keep on going.
I appreciate
It's not
that.
about
Thank you.
it's not about money. It's not about fame. It's about love for music and love for playing it. And you're the epitome of that. You're playing
Thanks.
it. You're playing it, and you're playing it. You don't have to. You do it because you love it.
Yeah.
You know.
I do.
And if it was about money, you wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
It's about the love of music.
It's not lucrative.
Exactly. But you're doing it, and that's what I love about it.
I mean, if we play
So-
the same songs that everyone else plays, that cover wise, I mean, yeah, we can make a little more money, but I don't want to be that. Nothing
No,
against them.
no.
I just don't want to be that band.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can be like Hairball and just play everybody else's music, and all they do is put on costumes.
I know.
And they're huge, but they're living off somebody else.
We try to, make ourselves a little more unique in the way that we try pulling off covers that not many, if any, bands are covering. We might have a couple standards in there,
Oh, yeah.
just to get a few people in, but
Yeah.
we
But you don't survive on it.
yeah, we play more or less what we want to play. A lot of bands are scared to play original music now. Now, we don't have a ton of originals, but we have enough to sprinkle through our set.
Have you played yet with the new name?
No, not yet. Right now, all we have booked is April 12th, I think.
I'd love to talk to you later and see how that name change
Well,
affected
if
anything.
you're in town, then you should show up.
What day? When's the next gig?
I think it's April 12th. But
April 12th?
we may book something before that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It
Okay.
kind of depends on the studio thing.
Well, here at the Kenosha Broadcast Company, we may have a show coming up in August, so we'll see what's going on. Maybe I'll see you there.
I
Maybe you can
gave,
play
I
that
gave him
stage.
my card. I gave you one.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. But hey, Garrett, it's been great catching up with you, talking to you. It's been a long time, but I mean, every time we get together, I just love talking to you, man.
Yeah, me too. Me
It's
too. We
been
always have a
great.
good conversation.
And you're a great musician, great
Thank you.
friend, and
you. You too,
you're
man.
just keeping it going, man.
I think
So,
one day, you and I are going to play in a band together.
dude, we'll do it.
You owe me.
Oh yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'm on the road for one more year. Then after that, I'm a free agent, so I can
All
do
right,
whatever
well,
I want.
we'll do
But
something.
I would love to jam with you.
We got to do something.
I'm aching too because I haven't played in a while.
if there's there's people from the scene, past and present, that I've always wanted to play with, and you would be one of them.
Awesome.
So
I
we
appreciate
got to
that,
do
man.
that sometime. Make that
Gotcha,
happen.
man.
So,
Well, hey,
I'm
man.
not just blowing smoke either. I've told you this a zillion times
Oh,
over the
dude,
years.
I've always wanted to play, and it was just always bad timing, and it sounds bad, but it was always bad timing,
Yeah, everyone's
You
got
know,
lives,
yeah, and it's like,
outside of it. Got
like
to
I
work.
said,
Some
yeah,
people got families, some people this, that.
yeah.
I get it.
I mean, it's hard to get 4 or 5 dudes together, a set date, do this, do that.
Yep.
I mean, it's terrible, but it's the hardest thing about rock and roll. But when you hit it and you get that sweet spot, there's nothing like it.
Right.
I'm looking
Right.
forward to it. But I appreciate your time so much. Thank you for
And
stopping
just
by.
remember, anyone that watches this, watch out for the Random Few. That's the new name of my band.
Random Few.
The Random Few, formerly known as Rat Fink.
Rat Fink.
I already went through the story, how that happened.
Yep.
But
And so,
yeah,
hey,
we're excited. So
coming up, listen to Gary. You talk to him. You know his past. If you ever see it. I got to get this ending right. A few.
the Random Few.
The Random Few.
The Random Few. I gave you a card. It should be right in front of you somewhere.
Yeah. I just got to. All right, you ready? All right, Gary, man, it's been great catching up with you and
You
talking
too.
to you. Thanks so much for doing this interview.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And,
Thanks
hey,
for having me,
this
man.
is the first Kenosha Icon interview right here, man, and you're
Awesome.
an icon to me, man.
I appreciate that.
I
I mean,
appreciate it.
I don't feel iconish, but people have done a lot more than me. But I appreciate that, and I'm honored that you think that way about me.
Oh,
so
man, I mean, you're doing it because of the love of music.
I am.
You're not chasing anything. You're just chasing music and loving it. That's what
Yeah.
I appreciate and love about it. That's true. That's true rock and
Thank
roll. So formerly Rat Fink, now they're
The Random
Few. The Random Few. Friend of my time. Random Few. If you see them, go check them out, please. They're awesome. They're going to the studio coming up soon. We'll keep you posted on when that release is going to be there. And hey, man, it's been just so much fun talking to you.
I had
And,
a blast.
And man,
I thought I'd be a little more nervous, but
Dude.
because I've never really done anything like this before.
I could keep on going and on, but
You and I have
but
always
no.
been like that.
yeah, these guys are telling us we got to wrap it up and stuff like that. But it was an honor and a pleasure to have you.
You too, man. I feel the same way.
Right, man. Well, hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for checking in. And if you like it, give us some likes, subscribe, do all that stuff. I guess that's what they say. I don't know. It's my first time, but this is Rich Hartnell from the Kenosha Broadcasting Company for K-Town Icons. We'll see you next month. Thank you.
See ya.
This episode is brought to you by Scully's Customs, the premier air ride for your Harley Davidson and other models. If you're sick of your Harley suspension, this is the way to go. Everybody knows it sucks, but with air ride, it's instant up, instant down. You dial it in, and your ass is your gauge. It makes it the best. Scully's is not only install, they have the greatest customer service. We're talking a lifetime warranty. Lifetime. You can take it off one bike and put on another, and you're still covered. And not only do they do air ride, they do handlebars, they do audio upgrades. They do all the motorcycle rallies. They're always somewhere, but they do mail order and everything else. And did I say lifetime warranty? Just check the link down below or give Rodney a call. But whatever you do, just tell him Rich sent you. No Shy Cons out.